All right, everybody. We are live with Choose Your Own Adventure Live. Eddie will be here in a second, but before we get started, I'll just explain real quick how this goes. We have an old Choose Your Own Adventure book that we go through. And when we get to decision point, what you can do is simply chime in on the chat and let us know what you want us to do. So, for example, if you want us to go to page 8 to go upstairs, we'll do that. Or if you want us to go to page 23 and go out into the garden, that's what we do. So simply type in the chat what you want us to do, and we will do it. It's a lot of fun, a lot of interaction with Eddie and I, and you can help determine how the story goes. Because each of these books, if you're familiar with them from the 80s, all have different possible endings. And so you can go through quite a few different books and get all sorts of different endings. Sometimes we have a happy ending and we survive. Sometimes it's not so happy and we end up dying. But that's the fun that you can have with these books. And by interacting with us with these books, you can help determine the outcome. So please chime in on the chat and let us know what you want us to do, and we will do it. We're going to go through 2 books today, and they are a part 2 of last week's books. The first one is Hyperspace by Edward Packard, as you can see on the screen there. And then the second one that we're going to go through again a second time is Mountain Survival. So this one is both by Edward Packard, by the way. And so we've got 2 of them here that we're going to go through a second time and see if we can get a different outcome this time. So that's what's really fun with these, is you can go through them over and over again and get different outcomes, different endings, different in-betweens, and you can help do that. So please chime in on the chat when we get to decision point, and we will let you know. Obviously, you'll know because we'll read through it, and you can tell us what you would like us to do. So let's go ahead and get started with this one while we're waiting for Eddie to chime in. And we'll get through the first part because there is an intro to these, and it always has the same warning at the beginning not to read all the way through these. This one came out in 1983, and Edward Packard, by the way, is the original designer of these Choose Your Own Adventure books. He's the one that created these back in the late 70s, actually. And he's the one that created this concept of deciding, you, the reader, getting to decide what happens in the story and have different outcomes to those. And these are just excellent fun. So we're going to get started here in just a second. Let me get it chimed up here. And there's Eddie. So just in time, Eddie. I've already gone live and we're at the first book. So
oh my goodness. Late boys get no chocolate after dinner.
That's okay. You're just in time. I just explained what we're doing and I just started up Hyperspace. We're going through it a second time. So let's go ahead, and we have our special warning. As I was telling everybody, there's a warning on most books, but this one has a special warning before you get started.
There you go.
Not just a regular warning, a special warning with 4 exclamation points. That's 4. How special it is.
2 does not drive home the urgency of what you're about to embark on. This book will blow up in your hands. Look at that. Look at that illustration.
I know. That's why it has 4 exclamation points. You know, it is the 80s. They didn't have a lot of safety in toys or anything, so it might have blown up.
No, every time a toy went bad and a kid got injured or, God forbid, got killed, they were like, well, what was he doing? Should have known better.
Yeah, exactly. There was no lawsuits. There wasn't anything.
I was hanging out.
The kids missing fingers in the 80s.
A lot of kids looking like this, old Johnny Nine Fingers.
Yeah.
They had, I was hanging out this weekend with my girlfriend, and we visited the store that had those remember those well, they weren't, but these were plexiglass
Oh
orbs.
yeah.
But she had recalled those clackers. Remember in the 80s you would get them
going on the string.
Yeah.
Yes.
They recalled those suckers because they would explode in your face, just like this book. Oh yeah, dude. If you got those things going, they sometimes would just the plexiglass would just blow up.
Well, they had a kind of a modified version of those that remember cap guns?
Yeah.
So they coated the clackers in that cap gun material. So every time they hit, they would pop.
Oh, no way.
So they took it up a level.
Dude, I want one of those now.
I know. I'd make one.
Let's make them.
Yeah, let's do it. The Choose Your Own Adventure live clackers.
We are going to sponsor this and get it going. So anyone watching, go ahead and comment now. Let us know you're watching, because the point of this, you probably already explained this, Lee.
Yeah,
but
I did.
We need your involvement, guys.
Chime in. Let us know. Yeah. Let us know your name, where you're from, whatever, and we'll do a shout out. And like I said, we're going through hyperspace first, and then we'll do mountain survival second. And this is our second time through. So go back and listen to the previous episode and find out what happened. But I'll go ahead and get started, Eddie.
There you go.
And then have you chime in when we get to the next page there.
Go for it.
Many scientists think that they have some idea of the size of the universe, how long ago it came into existence, and when it might end. But no one can say whether ours is the only universe, or whether there's an infinite number of universes. If there is an infinite number, then some of them may be very much like our own. Professor Carl Zinke has devoted his life to finding out whether another universe exists outside our own time and space. You are about to be drawn into his quest. Hashtag Zinke Shade. All right, he saved it, Eddie. Good job.
Get ready, guys.
Get ready for this guy. He's a hoot. You're about to be drawn into his quest. To do so, you will have to enter hyperspace. Hyperspace is so strange that it almost cannot be described in words. Some people believe that hyperspace is four-dimensional space. It may be even stranger than that. It may involve a world of 5 or 6 or even more dimensions. Certainly, the laws of science may be different there. This makes it possible to travel into another universe in an instant instead of the many hundreds of years it would take to get there by traveling through the third dimension. One thing seems certain: hyperspace is the only means by which we could reach another universe, or something in another universe could reach us. What is it like to be in hyperspace? There are many possibilities, more than we can imagine. To get an idea of what it might be like, imagine that you are an ant and that you have spent your entire life inside a large balloon. The inside of that balloon is your entire universe. Suddenly, the balloon bursts. At that moment, you've entered hyperspace. Are you ready to begin your adventure? I hope so, because it's about to begin.
Because your adventure is about to begin. You!
Your 9-year-old mind just exploded. So that's why the explosion's there.
I'm only 9 and my mind got blown.
Exactly. Well, here's our Carl Zinke, Professor Carl Zinke. Hashtag Zinke Shade.
Zinke Shade. That is the man you don't want to trust right out of the gate.
Oh, yeah.
Who wears those?
He's got a mustache. Now, your mom said men with mustaches are bad, but men with long, strangly goatees, right? I don't know. Is that even worse?
And, look at his striped pants.
Oh, as a plaid. He's gone to plaid.
I know. He's gone full plaid.
Yeah, wow. Never trust a man in plaid. And does he?
I'm just saying.
He doesn't have an ascot on, I don't think. I don't know what. He didn't even have a tie on. I don't know what that is, but anyway.
No, but the pattern on his pants belongs on his couch.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
He's wearing his couch.
If this is a true 80s book, and we all had the plaid couch in the 80s, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Grandma did. Somebody did.
If the couch doesn't make your eyes hurt when you look at it, then it's not a couch from the 80s.
But he's got his diploma in the background. You know, that he couldn't have staged this any better.
Right? I'm trustworthy.
All right, Eddie, you want to take this one?
Yep. Ever since Professor Carl Zinke moved into your neighborhood, you've been wanting to meet him. You've seen him a few times out for a stroll, puffing on his white clay pipe, much like Gandalf, some would say.
Sure.
That's my addition.
He's his cousin.
A strange-looking little man with a few stringy hairs on his head and a gray beard cut in the shape of a triangle. That's weird. Anyway, people say, no offense to any triangle beards out there. You go for it. You rock yourself. People say he's a mathematical genius. You wonder what he does all day. Probably mathematical genius stuff.
Jesus, yeah.
Just saying.
Math.
One afternoon, you have a chance to find out, for you happen to be passing his house as he is returning from his walk. Come in. I'm glad to meet you, he says when you introduce yourself. I've been so busy, I haven't had time to call on my neighbors. Listen, man, if we learned anything in the 80s, you just don't walk in someone's house.
He hasn't had time to introduce himself. And
what are you doing? Yeah, I know, but come on. This is Stranger Danger 101, man. That's one thing. If you notice in these books, we take stranger danger and we just toss it out. We're like,
oh yeah,
nope.
There's no stranger danger.
Yeah, this is stranger danger, and we're like, go with it. He seems legit.
Do whatever. He's a creepy old man you've never met, and he invites you in your house, and you're 9.
What's the worst
wrong with
happen?
that? What's wrong with this? Nothing.
Nothing could go wrong. I've been so busy, I haven't had time to call on my neighbors. Shaking hands, you say, I'm glad to meet you too, Professor. I've been curious about your work. We are
because you're 9.
We're a handful at 9.
Yeah. You're a curious bunch.
We're a curious little lad or lass. The professor smiles. My work is not easy to describe. Only a few people can understand it. Already throwing shade. Already.
Yeah. He's hinting at it. He's
with
hinting.
the Zinka shade.
Zinka shade. Hashtag hint shade.
Yes. The professor hurries into another room, almost tripping over his calico cat. A moment later, he reappears with a book. There is a twinkle in his eye as he hands it to you. Even if you don't understand higher mathematics, oh, there it is. Do you feel that burn?
It's coming.
I think you'll find this interesting because the book has really great pictures. You dummy.
You added that in there.
I did. Would you like to borrow it? You glance at the cover of the book. Its title is Hyperspace. If you take the book, thank him and leave, turn to page 3. If you stay and talk some more, turn to page 6. Do we take the book or do we stay and talk some more? I'm being told on my mystical glass brick that I need to have some more light up in here. So I'm gonna turn a light on over here.
Okay. All right.
Somewhere.
While Eddie's doing that, if you're watching right now, chime in. What should we do? Now, I will preface this that we will probably, how we do this usually is we make an executive decision. Last time we went to page 6, so we stayed and talked. So to get a different, Al Garrison is in the house. So Al Garrison, the creator of, one of the creators of Lenny Vernon.
Lenny Vernon, Badass Trucker.
Yes. So last time we went to page 6 and stayed and talked. So this time, I guess we will overturn the viewer / listener and go to page 3.
This is one of the few times.
This is it.
In the Choose Your Own Adventure where we will trump your decision. And just like I think it was the Eagles said, take the book and run.
Exactly.
In their song.
So we take the book, thank him, and leave, and just walk out.
Exactly.
Al says we promise we won't die this time. Do we believe him?
I don't believe him. Al has an uncanny ability to get us to die within like the first 10 minutes of this show.
But Kim's here, so maybe we can balance it out. She's
the Garrison.
She's Al's yin to his yang.
She is. Yes.
All right.
Al's a yang all day long.
Al's a yang. So we're going to go to page 3. We grab the book and run. And so I will take this one. Look, we're just lounging on this. What is that? Like leaf-shaped design couch?
Oh, yeah, you have it up already. This pattern on this couch is quintessentially like you're sitting on your... See, this is where every so often in the book, I wonder if you and I are being too difficult on the Choose Your Own Adventure book. But this kid is clearly, I mean, he's 9 if he's a day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is they drew this towards the 9, 10, maybe even 11-year-old boy. I mean, it was obvious that that's their demographic, but
that's just it. So it's hilarious because every so often I'm like, are we being a little too hard? And then I see an illustration like that. And I'm like, no, it's a child. I've been curious about your work, Professor.
Yeah. I'm 9. I've wondered what's going on.
I'm going to die on this couch with marijuana leaves on.
Marijuana. I know that's exactly. Wow. The hemp couch.
Grandma's couch is made of weed. This isn't
Grandma's
fair.
couch is really cool. I feel so good when I'm at Grandma's house.
I'm always hungry at Grandma's house.
Oh man.
I think my grandma has a pet skunk.
Oh, funny smell there. It's not
This house-
Bengay.
Grandma's house smells funny.
All right. Well, we better get started. Back at home. Oh, so we're home. Okay. Back at home, you prop yourself up with some cushions and start to read the book. Imagine that you are absolutely flat and that you live in a flat surface. You read, you can travel backward and forward and sideways, but never up or down. In fact, you never even know there is an up and down. Of course, in the real world, you can move backwards and forwards and up or down, but imagine still another way you could travel, a way we cannot even describe. If you could move in that way, you'd be in hyperspace. You look up for a moment and blink. This book is a little strange. You wonder whether it's worth reading on the next page or whether you should skip ahead a few pages and look for some real action. So here's where we're going to find some action, I guess.
I know, right?
If you read on to the next page, go to page 4. If you skip ahead, turn to page 10. And you notice the decisions are even the same as what you're deciding in the book. So if you want to just go to the next page, you go to the next page in this book. But if you want to skip ahead, you go to page 10.
Yeah. Yeah. The skipping ahead is what we call garrisoning, which is what Al did in 10th grade in high school.
5th grade and high school?
Yeah, he's just like, I'm just done. And
so he was like 10-year-old. So he was a 10-year-old senior.
Yeah, he was 10 years old, but he was 6'2", and they were like, I
just let him go.
Let the kid in.
All right. So Al wants to skip ahead.
Skip ahead.
Kim wants to read the next page. Of course. So
we're stalemated here. Look at this. Skip ahead in the book like a monster.
Oh man. Well,
split. We got to bust out the covert nerd coin.
Let me get the coin flipper here, and I'll give maybe somebody else a chance to chime in just to break the tie.
Yeah, we'll give people a chance. We'll give them a 30-second little bleed here, and if we don't get anybody in the next 30 seconds, bust out the old covert nerd coin.
I need to
give that a flip.
We need to find a developer that can do a covert nerd digital coin for us.
Oh, I bet you we could easily even get a custom one made. Like we could just, but it'd be fun. It's fun for people to see the results. So we just can't be like, it says heads. Promise.
Yeah. But so yeah, let's go ahead and flip the coin then.
Flip the coin.
Somebody else chimes in. So okay. So
heads is skip.
Okay.
Tails is read on to the next page.
Okay, heads is skip.
While Lee is flipping the coin, I'd be remiss to say, check out
heads.
The covert nerd. Oh! Skip ahead.
Skip ahead.
All right.
All right. So
Al gets his.
Close this.
So we're going to page.
Al gets his way.
Page 10.
Please just don't listen to Al. We all know what happens when he. Yeah, but Al promised we won't die this time.
I'm on page 10. Here we go.
Is Al a man of his word?
It was a good idea to turn to this page. You can tell you're in for plenty of action. Do we know what kind of book we're reading?
It's a math book.
We're the most boring kid on the block. No wonder we have to hang out with professors. Nobody else will talk to us.
Exactly.
I've exhausted all my friends because I'm insufferable.
I hang out with a crazy professor. It's like I said, it's Back to the Future all over again.
I know. You can tell you're in for plenty of action. And much to your surprise, the page is set up like a choose-your-own-adventure book.
Oh, that's awesome. What?
We just got metaed in this own thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Here we go. Imagine that your spacecraft has just entered hyperspace. You read. You streak through a black hole and instantly enter another universe. You're in a new state of existence where even the laws of physics are different. Suddenly, three disc-shaped craft close in on you. They must take you to be an intruder. Quickly, you activate the radio and shout into the transceiver, "Don't fire, I come in friendship."
Oh.
Turn to page 14. Not peace. I didn't promise peace. I promised friendship. I'll just finish this one real quick here.
Yeah. Al just mic dropped.
Yeah, Kim Garrison, we're all going to die. You hear unintelligible squawks in reply. No choice, no chance for communication. They're not human. They must think you're a space invader, and there's no way you can tell them you're friendly. We've got to act fast. So this is what we're reading in the book.
In the book. Yeah.
Here we go. If we open fire, turn to page 7. If you hold your fire and try to maneuver safely past the oncoming craft, turn to page 18. If you reverse course and try to go back through the black hole, turn to page 19.
They really broke the fourth wall, didn't they, on this?
They broke some wall. I mean, I don't even know anymore. Like, we're reading a book about a kid reading a book. And he's reading that book that basically has him pretending he's reading a book.
Yes. Oh,
and
my
we're
gosh.
recording a podcast. I think we need to
Packard.
Bay.
I think he might have been smoking something at grandma's house when he was writing this.
Edward Packard's entire house was made of marijuana.
Al says unleash hell. So open fire.
Yeah,
Kim says open fire
in
too.
Unison. Open fire. All right, sir. So that would be page
are on
7.
fire.
That is page 7 for you.
Page 7 for me. All right. Okay. You hate to do it, but it's self-defense. Poof, poof, poof.
Oh,
or pew, pew, pew.
Pew.
Your laser-driven impulse cannon selects its target. You obliterate the enemy craft one by one.
Yeah.
You're thankful to have survived. Your Astro craft must have a very advanced design. At the same time, you feel sick at having to destroy other spacecraft and their pilots. How strange that they didn't burst into flames or crash. They just disappeared. And now something even stranger is happening. A lush meadow is visible below, and your spacecraft is gently descending toward it as if guided by an unseen hand. Moments later, your craft lands so precisely that it takes you a minute to realize it has come to rest. Warily, you open the canopy and step out. 3 other spacecraft rest nearby. They look like the ones you shot down, or rather the ones that disappeared when you shot at them. You have an eerie feeling that somehow they are the very same craft. Turn to page 46. Right. Turn to 46 here. Let's see. 46.
These pages aren't numbered the same. Like, the document number
is different than the actual
number, yeah. Because of their 4-page warning.
Yeah, we have that 4-page warning at the beginning. So, all right, page 46.
You mean to take this one?
I can go ahead and do it. No, you can do the next one.
It.
The alien pilots are standing nearby, vaguely human-like, covered with short, sleek hair. They smile and wave their spindly arms. One of them steps forward. He bows as if you were a welcome hero. In his hand is a shiny black object like a clam. It emits a loud musical tone as a computer voice speaks. Congratulations. You have won the battle. You have conquered our kingdom. You will be ruler of our world. Turn to page 54. Kim thinks this isn't a good sign, but I don't know. We just became king of their world, so.
Well, we're a world of weird, hairy, spindly things.
Yes.
What was the page again? My document reset here.
54.
All right, I'm almost there. I'm letting it refresh as I.
Yeah, it takes a little bit to open these.
Yeah, mine's being a little bit of a difficult.
But Al says boom. So maybe he's onto something.
I don't know.
We shot down their spacecraft and now we became king of their planet.
Right? What's the worst that would happen?
That sounds like a Lenny Vernon plot.
Right? I'm on this document keeps resetting. I get all scroll happy. I'm going to let it roll. I'm going to let it load. Boop.
Okay.
Can I download this is my question.
Yeah, you should be able to. It's a PDF. You want me to read this page while you download it?
You read that page while I download.
Okay. Perhaps you should feel great upon hearing these words, but instead you feel sad. You hardly make an effort to speak as the aliens lift you on their shoulders and carry you across the field to an ivory courtyard beyond which lies a marble hall. Silently, they take you inside to the cool, cavernous building and set you upon a golden and silver throne. it's all so astonishing that you can't think straight. What do you mean I'm ruler of this world, you ask finally? What it would mean in any universe, the tiny computer replies. First of all, you must stay in this marble palace. Each day you must shake hands with visiting lords and talk with them about nothing. You must never go out without 12 guards to protect you. You must travel only in long black cars, and you must never drive one yourself. You must pretend to be happy. You must always, I don't want to be ruler, you interrupt. Turn to page 49.
I'm loaded and ready here.
Locked and loaded.
The aliens scowl and shake their heads. One of them steps forward and points a long, thin finger at you. His stern, round eyes burn into yours, and his voice is cold as steel. He seizes the computer from his comrade and thrusts it toward you. You start to speak, but are silenced by the loud musical tone, and then by these words, "You defeated our patrol ships. You showed yourself to be a conqueror. Justice requires that you will be our ruler." "No, please," you shout, but the aliens have already placed a heavy gold crown upon your head. The end. Now, we're reading a book. Do we get pulled into the book?
I'm guessing. Now it does say turn to page 112, so I'm going to go there. This was really.
Oh, it says the end. Oh, okay. So then we'll go to page 112. You're right. It says the end, but then that's crazy.
The end, the last page of the book. Let's find out. Here.
Go to page 112. That's crazy.
Al was right. We didn't die. So Al didn't kill us.
No, but it says the end. But is it the end of this book, or is it the end of him reading that book? Yeah, let's find out. I've never read this ever, so I have no idea. This is a weird angle. Oh, we're not done.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
You look up from the book. It might be worth reading it some more. On the other hand, maybe you should go back to the professor's house and see what he's up to. Huh. This is really weird.
This is very meta.
If you decide to spend some more time reading the book, go on to the next page. If you go back and talk to the professor himself, turn to page 6, which I think takes us back to where we were.
Want to stay the course here on this one. If we go back to the professor, we're back to where we were last time.
Yeah.
Versus this, if you look at it, go to the next page. If we want to cheat here, it says turn to page 4 at the end, which would have been the page we should have.
Oh, you're right.
So maybe we want to go to page 113.
Huh. Because it says, go back to page 4. So you're almost in a loop.
Which kind of makes sense when you think about the subject of this book.
You're space and time. So that totally makes sense. Okay. So Kim says, or Al says, keep reading.
So you want to keep reading, and then I'll go to page 4?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
You start to reread the professor's book, trying to understand his strange ideas. Imagine that you are absolutely flat, you read, and that you live on a flat surface. You can travel backwards and forwards and sideways, but never up or down. In fact, you never even know there is an up or down. Of course, in the real world, you can move backward and forward and up and down, but imagine still another way you could travel, a way that we cannot even describe. If you could move in that direction, you'd be in hyperspace. The words make a little more sense this time, and you decide to read further without skipping ahead. So they force you to go back.
Yep.
So we're going back to page 4, like Kim says.
And I got page 4 up and ready to go.
You got that up and running? Okay, so go ahead.
The implications of hyperspace are staggering, the book continues. Not only are there other dimensions that we cannot perceive through though they govern our destiny, but they are infinite number of universes, each of them as complex as our own. And traveling in hyperspace is the only way to reach them. Strangest of all these universes do not always lie somewhere far beyond our own. They may exist around and within us. Man, this book is getting insane.
Woo.
The most important scientific question of today is this: can we enter hyperspace? Can we reach another universe? Just then the phone rings and you put your book aside to answer it. Hello, I'm glad I caught you. The voice sounds like Professor Zinka's. Professor, is that you? Yes, I want to warn you not to come near my house. Something has gone wrong with my don't come near my house. The feds are here. Something's gone wrong with my experiment. Turn to page 23. 23, sir.
Okay, 23. Wow. So we became king of a planet, and now we're back to Professor Zinka
saying, don't come to my house.
Don't come to my house.
Whatever you do,
don't come a knocking.
You do a lot of things. You could become the king of a weird, fuzzy alien world. But don't come to my house.
Fuzzy aliens.
Don't you dare come to my house.
Al says, this means we're going to his house. Yep, it does. What happened, you ask? I thought I would be able to enter hyperspace. Instead, my molecular structure has started to break down. It's as if hyperspace has entered me. There's a click at the other end of the phone, leaving you surprised and uneasy. You wonder if you should go to the professor's house and see whether he's all right, or if you ought to call the police. Here's our decision, everybody. If you run to the professor's house and knock on his door, turn to page 22. If you call the police, turn to page 16.
There we go.
So do we just go to the professor's house right away, or do we just call the cops and grab some popcorn and watch out the window?
Just watch from the comfort of my not having to rule an entire alien planet house.
Yeah. My hemp covered the couch, and I'm 9. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming Alice saying go to his house.
Al says, if that house is a rockin', you best go a knockin'.
There you go. That's go to the house. That's one vote for go to the house.
So we'll wait another second here.
We'll wait a second or two and see if we get a competing vote.
Yeah. See if we get somebody that wants to call the cops or not. Otherwise, we're going to go knocking on the door, which is right next door on the screen here. You can see page 22. So
yeah, and I can read that one.
Okay, go ahead and grab that one.
We're going to page 22. You run to the professor's house because you don't listen to a dang thing he tells you. He's only a mathematical genius. What else does he know? And throw open the front door because your mother raised you horribly. Professor, you call. What?
We're a rude 9-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Kim comes in too late with the call the cops.
Sorry.
Kim, you got to stay on top of this. Professor, you call. Are you all right? Hearing a muffled voice from within, you rush through the house and find the professor in his laboratory working feverishly at his computer. He glances at you for an instant. Hyperspace is leaking in. Ew. Ew.
Ew.
You know, you need to call the hyperspace, the good people over a hyperspace plumbing if you have any hyperspace leakage in your house.
Your sump pump quit. My hyperspace sump pump quit working.
Exactly. Call the good folks at hyperspace leak repair to get that taken care of right away.
1-800 hyperspace leak.
1-800 fuzzy aliens. Call them.
Yeah.
Professor, you call. Are you all right? Hearing a muffled voice from within, you rush through the house and find the professor in his laboratory working feverishly at his computer. Oh, I'm repeating myself. Hyperspace is leaking in. I'm trying to block it, trying to plug the hole that separates us from an alien universe. Quick, throw the green lever to the left of the door.
Huh. Okay, page 13.
There we go. This is you, sir.
Yep. Oh, boy. There's a terrible urgency in the professor's voice, and you lunge at the lever. Instantly, you're paralyzed by electric charge that floods the room with quivering light. The two of you crumple to the floor. You feel as if every ounce of strength has been drained from your body. Finally, the burst of electricity dies away, and the eerie light fades. Several minutes pass before the professor is able to pull himself together and inspect his instruments. Then he walks over and helps you to your feet. We stopped it. We sealed the hole to the hostile universe. If you hadn't come when you did, it would have been all over, not only for us, but for the Earth, and even for our universe. You hardly know what to believe. Is the professor a genius or is he crazy? I think I'd better get home now, you say, or I'll be late for dinner. I'm grateful for your help, the professor says. He shakes your hand again and again, more grateful than I can say. Someday I will repay you for what you've done.
He meant that like I'm going to pay, like he's going to hurt us.
I know, that's what I'm
going to
thinking.
repay.
So we go to page 35.
All
I'm
right,
going to repay you for
up.
what you did.
Loading that up now.
All right.
Is that me?
That would be you, page 35.
Look how concerned we look. Several months go by without any sign of the professor. You often wonder where he is and what he's up to. You miss seeing him strolling along his walk. On the other hand, his experiments were pretty scary, and in a way, you're glad that he's gone. We're conflicted. We're 9 years old.
We're 9 years old.
And we're already conflicted. We have a rough life in this story. We're stressed. Still, you are delighted when a large package wrapped in heavy brown paper arrives in the mail. The return address reads, Professor Carl Zinka, #Zinka Shade, Spica Spica Laboratories, Khartoum, Alberta, Canada. Eagerly, you rip open the envelope pasted on the box. As you guessed, it's a letter from the professor because his return address was on the package.
Yes.
Turn to page 42.
Pointed that out.
You want to read that one, sir?
Yeah, I'll get that one here. All right. To my young friend, I've settled here permanently and will not be returning to the United States for a long time, but I haven't forgotten to repay you for what you did. Inside this box is a small round bottle made of an unbreakable glass of my own design. The bottle has a cap that will open if you turn it 14 times.
Whoa.
Very precise there, isn't he?
I know, right? Don't turn it 15 times. You'll rip open a hole.
Its contents could be worth a fortune. Yeah. Well, he is a mathematician, so numbers are important to him.
Trust him.
Do you remember when we sealed off the hole and stopped the leakage of hyperspace in our universe? After you left, I realized that some hyperspace, specifically a gaseous substance subject to the laws of gravity of another universe, had gotten into the laboratory. Using a polarizing diffractor, because, why not? I have one of those in my garage, like everybody. Yeah, everybody does. I was able to trap it in 2 bottles. I have kept one. The other is in the box you hold. If the bottle is opened and hyperspace is allowed to mix with the air, the laws of gravity in the vicinity of the bottle will be radically altered. By holding on to the bottle, you could become weightless. You would rise above the treetops and drift across the countryside as if you were riding a balloon. Gradually, the hyperspace would evaporate and you would drift to the ground. This bottle can only be used once. Since its effects may be dangerous, I suggest that you save it for a very special occasion. Sincerely, Professor Carl Zinka. Yeah, like Al, we're going to open that bottle.
Yeah.
Because we're 9.
I'm turning to page 68 right now. I'm just giving my phone a chance to refresh as I do because it's been resetting too much. Almost there.
I agree. I think we're going to open the bottle.
It just did it again. Gosh dang it, Lee. What's going on? This technology. Just give me a normal book. Oh, I got there.
You need to open a hyperspace bottle.
I'm good. Page 68.
Yes.
All right, I'm almost there. Come on, baby. And 68. Oh, the bottle even says hyperspace.
I know. He labeled it, and there's a piece of tape on the lid.
I wonder what's inside this bottle.
I love it.
You waste no
hyperspace
time
in a bottle.
In opening the box. If I could put hyperspace in a bottle.
Oh, yes. There you go.
Little Jim Croce.
Yes.
You waste no time in opening the bottle and tossing layer after layer of plastic bubble wrap on the floor. Of course, popping all the bubble wrap because we're 9.
Yes.
Who are we kidding? I'm 43 and I want to do that.
Still do it. Yeah, exactly.
On the floor until you find a small round bottle. You stare at it for a long time, but of course there's not much to see. It's baffling. How can you be sure the bottle contains anything but air? But when you're ready to use it, you may find that it's a fraud. Or from what you know of Professor Zinka, it might be even more powerful than the letter says. Instead of lifting you gently over the treetops, it could carry you into the stratosphere where you die from lack of oxygen. What should you do with the bottle of hyperspace? If you open it just to prove to yourself that there's really nothing in the bottle, turn to page 81. If you decide to save it, turn to page 88.
Oh, I already know what I want to do.
Are we going to open that bottle?
Oh, yeah. We're going to open that bottle.
We're going to.
Because Al said we're going to open that
leave
bottle.
It shut.
Don't even have to ask because we're 9. Yeah, Al, open the bottle.
All right, sir. There you go. Page 81.
This would be WWLD. What would Lenny do?
What would Lenny do?
All right, so we're going to page.
Oh, we got to vote for save. We got to split this. We got to do the flip. We got to flip the coin.
Oh,
there we go. Kim coming in with the save. Oh, we could change this real quick. Sorry. I mean, she came in right there.
She did.
Barely. Well, Kim, you barely made it, Kim.
You told her, said you can't lollygag.
Barely made it.
Okay. Let's see. Let's find the coin flip again.
Coin. So I would say heads is open, tails, save.
Okay. Here we go.
Incidentally, what would you do? Listeners of this podcast after the fact, what would you do? Would you open that bottle? Would you save it for a rainy anti-gravity day?
Is that a national holiday now? Anti-gravity day?
Today it should be. Forget May, forget May. It was today's May 2nd, right?
Yeah.
Then May 2nd is anti-gravity day.
Anti-gravity day.
Covert nerd anti-gravity day.
You see this at the bottom? 100 of the flips. Tails is more likely to happen than heads, just by a small fraction.
That's crazy.
So anyway, all right. Heads.
We're opening that bottle, Kim.
We're opening it. All right. So 81.
Page 81.
Page 81. Open the bottle. Open the bottle. Open the bottle. And here. Oops. Too far. Okay. Open the bottle. See, is that you or me?
That's you.
Convinced that the bottle can't really contain hyperspace, you decide to unscrew the cap. You count each turn until after 14 turns, the cap comes off, just as the professor had said. You hold the bottle upright at arm's length. Nothing happens and you begin to laugh. Your laugh becomes a gasp when you begin to rise rapidly through the air. There's not far to go. Thunk. Your head smashes into the ceiling, knocking you out cold.
See? Didn't plan it through.
Didn't even think about it. Okay, so we go to 87.
So I can read this one if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
An hour or so later, you come to with a bad headache. Good grief. You're lying on the ceiling. Just like Lionel Richie said. What a feeling.
Dancing on the ceiling and dancing on the ceiling.
Your head still hurts and you lapse back into unconsciousness because you're concussed and you're not.
Evidently.
When you next awaken, you're drifting slowly toward the floor. A few minutes later, you touch down, but you feel strangely light, as if you weighed only a few pounds. It's several hours before you return to your normal weight. You're grateful to have survived your encounter with hyperspace and thankful you weren't outdoors when you opened the professor's bottle. If you had been, you'd be passing the moon by now. The end. So, hey, I mean, not too shabby. I mean,
no, we survived two times.
Yeah. We survived and we had a kind of a wicked, crazy experience on top of it.
And we got concussed.
And we got knocked out and we were unconscious for all of that being weightless time.
That's awesome. That one was bonkers. I mean, a lot of these are bonkers, but this one was just.
But did you die? We didn't die this one.
We did not die. No, Al did not lie.
Mark that down as the one time Al hasn't killed us.
Okay. May 2nd, Anti-Gravity Day, and the day that Al did not kill us.
Hardly worth bragging for when it's one time. I'm just saying.
He's not wrong.
I'm just saying.
Well, we'll give Al another chance and anybody else that's watching to see if we can survive not hyperspace, but survive the mountains.
Mountain survival.
Survival.
Yeah!
Is that your band? That's the band name.
Oh yeah.
Is
I mean, here's
Mountain
this one.
Survival.
Blowing up helicopters. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Chasing
Mountain
bears.
survival.
Eaten by bears.
What? You don't even know what happened right here, but it looks intense.
Gonna freeze to death on the other one.
And then this one here. There's an angry bear coming at you. What did you do? Why you gotta mess with a bear?
And then the frozen guy. Yeah.
You are frozen dead. Don't worry, because it's one of the worst ways to die.
I can't feel my legs.
This is entitled "I'm Just So Sleepy."
I feel so sleepy.
I just want to lay down for a little bit.
Just a second.
Literally,
Al
this is
said
called Mountain. Yeah.
Mountain Survival. And despite Al's efforts to kill us, we survived twice.
In all of these pictures, he's pretty much dying except for this one. So I don't know calling that Mountain Survival.
Ooh, yeah, good point.
So we're not done, Kim. Don't be leaving yet. Thank you both, gentlemen, for the amazing. We're not done yet.
So got
one more book to read. What are you doing saying goodbye?
Let's get started then.
Let's dive right in.
Mountain Survival and see if Al can kill us again.
Let's give Al the power to kill us.
We're going to die.
This one, or do you want to start this one?
Go ahead. I started the other one, so you go ahead and start this one.
You and your pilot, Jake McKay, are flying over the Canadian Rockies. A lot of Canada action tonight,
yeah.
by the way. Sorry. When the engine begins to sputter, suddenly that's the worst kind of engine, by the way. The sputter.
Oh yeah, kind. Sputter engine.
Suddenly, you're caught in a blinding snow squall. What seemed like a beautiful spring day has turned into a wintry nightmare. We're going down, Jake cries. Jake is able to set the plane down on a smooth, grassy area just at the timberline. It hits the ground hard, bounces once, and slides into a grove of stunted pine trees. The left wing smashes against a tree, and the plane spins wildly around, then suddenly stops. Fortunately, you are not hurt, just shaken up a bit. But Jake's ankle seems to be sprained. He can't put any weight on it. To make matters worse, the radio stopped working on impact. Because the radio is cheap.
Yes.
We bought it at a flea market.
Those cheap Canadian radios.
Those cheap Canadian radios. Canadian radios.
Canadian.
The two of you huddle down in the seats. Jake has wrapped his injured ankle in a red plaid scarf because he's stylish.
Yes.
I'm afraid we're pretty far off course, he says, his eyes scanning the map. Our only hope is for you to make it to that ranger station we saw on the way in. I'd say it's about 9 miles east of here. It looked abandoned from the air, but if it's like most of the stations in the area, it's stocked with canned food and an emergency radio transmitter. Mm-hmm. You look over at Jake. You know he's trying to encourage you. I'll go, you tell him. I'm 9.
Because I'm 9.
You listen carefully as he explains how to send a radio distress signal. Jake does his best to smile through the excruciating ankle pain. That was just a frontal squall that hit us. Look, the sun's coming out. You'd better get going so you can reach the station before dark. You check your backpack, which holds a light sleeping bag, a poncho, a day's supply of food, matches, and a first aid kit. You are wearing a hooded parka, wool socks, gloves, and a good pair of hiking boots, the right clothes for a long hike. After making sure that Jake is comfortable, you strap on your backpack, say goodbye, and start walking. You set out on a brisk pace across the high, rugged land. Since it's almost noon, the sun must be in the south. If you keep it on your right, you know you'll be headed east. 9 miles doesn't seem like a long distance. Yeah, kind of is, kid. It kind of
is. Yeah.
A mile for every year I've been alive.
Yeah, I can do it.
I can do it. It's like a birthday every mile. On a gentle, well-groomed trail, you could easily cover it in 3 hours, but in these mountains, it could take much longer.
Yeah.
Within an hour, it has become cloudy again. A cold north wind has sprung up. The temperature is falling. You flip up the collar of your parka, trying to keep warm. Now ahead of you, you see what looks like an animal trail running north-south. Alongside it, blocking your way, is a high rock wall, too steep to climb. The shortest route around the wall would be to cross the roaring stream to your right. The stream is about 10 feet wide with water boiling up to a white torrent. They should say like roiling, right? Or something like that. Like
not boiling.
Wow. You can't judge its depth. Probably you can get across it by jumping from rock to rock, but one slip could put you in a lot of trouble. The safest thing to do would be to follow the animal trail through the pine forest to your left, but that would take you in a northerly direction, possibly far out of your way. Now, if we remember this, we crossed the stream last time.
We did.
And it killed us.
To page 7 is what we went to last time. So we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So
we're going to force the decision here. And we're going to follow the trail to your left and turn to page 8. This is where our only involvement here is to keep us from at least starting off the same way we did last time.
Exactly. Kim says don't listen to Al.
Well, we're trying not to, but we have to. By the rules, we're bound.
Exactly. But, his leg was wrapped in a plaid scarf.
Yes.
Do you think that he cut off the pants of a Professor Zinka and wrapped his leg in it? Because it was plaid, too.
Zinkaception.
Yeah.
I was not ready for that, but you know exactly what he did. He somehow is connected to the Zinkaverse.
Yes.
And
took his pants.
Took his pants. Zinka pants.
Went in his dresser and stole them out of his dresser, I guess.
That's how I'm going with that story. I love that.
Yes. All right.
Connects all of this.
Take the trail, dodge the stream. Yep. That's what we're doing. So following the trail to your left, you head north along the edge of the granite wall that blocks your way to the east. You go higher and higher. It's a long, exhausting climb, but it seems to be the only safe way over the mountain. At last, you reach a plateau, well above the timberline. Your route east is no longer blocked, and you strike out across the high, barren terrain, glad to be headed toward the ranger station. Though the way is clear now, you are exposed to a powerful wind. Within moments, a heavy bank of clouds sweeps across the mountain. Suddenly, the squall hits you. You try to stay calm, and all you can see through the driving snow is the ground beneath your feet and the blurred outline of nearby rocks. Using the wind as a compass, its direction seems to be holding steady from the north. You try to keep on course. Then you see a hollow place in the rocks, almost like a cave, a refuge from the wind and the snow. Maybe you should take shelter until the weather improves. Then you remember Jake. He's counting on you to help him. It's hard to think clearly. You're so cold and miserable. You wonder whether you should keep moving in spite of the storm. If you continue, turn to page 12. If you decide to take shelter, turn to page 37.
All right, here we go, everybody. We can take shelter, 37. Gimme shelter. Wasn't that a Rolling Stones song?
Oh, yeah. You're right. Gimme shelter.
Continue. Turn to page 12.
12. So do we soldier on, or do we take shelter and be 9 and try to survive?
Do we want to see 10? That's the question. We know what 9's been like.
Did it say in the beginning why we were flying over the Canadian Rockies? I don't recall.
Never did. We just woke up. We're in a plane. Like what?
Woke up when we're in a plane.
Why am I here? It doesn't matter.
What's going on? Why did I have Zinka's pants?
Why do I heard Zinka's pants in this plane? Where's that bottle of anti-gravity when we need it?
No kidding. Just fly out of there.
Just dump it on all broken, busted ankles, and let's do this.
And just let him go.
Just fly under the moon.
Like, there you go.
You're useless to me.
So Kim says continue on, and Al says to take shelter.
Man, this house divided. This Garrison house is a house divided every time.
House divided amongst itself. Okay, so Eddie, what's heads continue, tails shelter?
Heads continue, tails shelter.
Okay. Heads again.
Oh, we're dropping the heads tonight. So heads continue. Carry on, my wayward 9-year-old son.
Carry on my wayward son.
We're dropping some hits tonight.
No kidding. All right.
12.
12.
Here we go. Gritting your 9-year-old teeth, you struggle on. You are determined to keep moving. You manage to reach a ledge that is sheltered from the full force of the wind. From here, you're going to have to climb steeply upward, up a high ridge to the top of the mountain. Climbing is hard work, but the footing is secure. The snow lets up and visibility improves. You make good progress up the long slope, climbing higher, higher, and higher.
Higher.
Until you find yourself above the clouds, hanging over the valley, or as we call that, Garrison Height.
Garrison Height.
Everywhere you look, snow-capped peaks jut up into the crystalline sky. You've never seen such a view. Then, off in the distance, you see a small boy floating up to the moon, holding a bottle,
yelling, "I opened the bottle!"
Yelling, "Zinka, why?
Zinka, why?
Why?" You keep climbing, but you have to breathe a lot harder now. You start to cough. Soon you have a headache and begin to feel dizzy, yet you are quite warm from the hard work of climbing and not in immediate danger of developing hypothermia. They explain it for us because we're small.
Oh, yeah.
Becoming dangerously chilled.
Chilled.
Should you struggle on to the top? It can't be more than 300 feet to the crest of the ridge. Or should you retreat back down the mountain, giving up the ground you've so painfully won?
Ooh. Oh, boy.
Do we just keep climbing? Great illustration here, by the way. It's kind of cool, actually.
It is.
Do we keep climbing or do we go back down the mountain? To also quote a Jane's Addiction song. Coming down the mountain.
Kim says I need a coin flip at home.
Right?
Heads again. What are the odds?
Right?
Point. Altitude sickness wouldn't have hit you in the shelter. Ah.
Oh.
Ooh.
Al throwing in that
little jab there.
Zinka
shade.
So we got a split house again. Al is saying retreat. We're not going to impress anybody.
We're not trying to impress anybody.
I predict we're going to slip and break something on this retreat. Anyway.
Yeah, your choose your own adventure spider senses are starting to go off.
I'm getting that little tingle in my head space. But we got to flip the coin. We got to flip the coin.
Yes. So heads, keep climbing.
Heads, go to the top. Tails, retreat.
All right.
To quote Starscream.
Heads again.
Oh!
What?
This is
That's
rigged.
been heads every single time.
This is rigged. So heads, go to the top. Al,
go to the top. We're not retreating like Starscream.
We're gonna go over the top. We're gonna retreat.
So we're gonna keep climbing. So that's page 96 here.
Oh, we gotta go for it.
Yeah, I gotta really
spin it. I'm letting mine load here.
This coin is rigged.
This coin is rigged.
No kidding. Here, let me see if I can get there a little faster.
I'm trying here. I gotta let my phone refresh it. I'm almost there. Oh, it's a gun.
All right. I got it here.
Dang it keeps dying, dude. You might have to read it yourself there.
Okay, I can go ahead and do it.
Go ahead.
You have any ideas about what we could do, you ask? But wait. That's not right.
96.
Okay, I was like, this is not right.
And I'm there if you want me to read it.
Okay, go ahead then.
All right. Here we go. You keep climbing. You keep climbing, but your symptoms worsen. This might be the time that Kim kills us.
I know.
You keep climbing, but your symptoms worsen. You have to stop again and again to cough or catch your breath. You continue to climb, one heavy foot in front of the other, your mind too dull to think of anything else. Suddenly you stop and gasp for air, but no air comes. You feel as if you are suffocating, and in a sense you are. From a pulmonary edema. We're throwing in some medical.
What? Holy cow, 9-year-old medical terms.
I must be having a pulmonary edema. A high altitude sickness. Al coming in with that. Caused by a lack of oxygen that can be fatal. This time it is. with an illustration of it, no doubt, on top of it.
Oh, wow. Look at that. The end.
Taking a dirt nap on the mountain.
On the top of a mountain. Your 9-year-old body collapsed among the rocks.
Well, at least we didn't live to see this ending.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Wow. This one had some so last time we died of hyperthermia. This time it was pulmonary edema.
Man.
So can you imagine your 9-year-old going back to school and you tell the teacher, I'm having a pulmonary edema. I can't do my homework.
I need to go home. I have a pulmonary edema. By the way, the title of this book shouldn't be Mountain Survival. It should be Mountain Death.
Death.
Death on the Mountain.
Death on the Mountain is the new name instead of Mountain Survival.
Yeah.
There's no surviving here.
No. Man, we died so fast again.
I know.
We did not. This Mountain Survival. I
get a chance to.
Well, go ahead.
We didn't even get a chance. I mean,
no.
All we did was wrap Jake's leg in plaid pants from the professor and took off.
We just got a little further this time, but
yeah, really not that much further than last time.
Like
63 ways to die.
That's great.
I think this one has 23 possible endings. It should be 23 ways to die in a mountain.
You know, there's probably only one way to get off this mountain alive.
Yeah, most of these, there's only like one way to do it. Let me see if I can go back to the beginning.
Kim coming in with these kids are weak AF.
Oh, yes. This 9-year-old kid is like soft, evidently.
He's like, yeah, I thought we built things tougher in the 80s.
I guess not 9-year-old kids. Let's see how many. I forgot how many are on the possible endings on this one.
Does it say that on the book?
Yeah, they always have it on the front. 25. So 25 possible ways to die on a mountain.
Well, scratch off 2 because we found those.
We found 2 of them.
Man, you know, typically we move on to other books, but maybe we put this one back in rotation because I feel like we just haven't gotten into it.
No, because I agree. Because the hyperspace, we thoroughly. I think we did that one pretty good.
Yeah.
And but this one, maybe next time we'll take one more crack at it and see if we can. Let's see. I'll have to mark out what the first 2 decisions that we made, and
we die we die so quick in this book that if we put the record on, or we put the song "Staying Alive" by the Bee Gees, we would be dead before the chorus of "Staying Alive."
Exactly.
Ironically playing as we're like laying in a heap of rubble.
I like you said, I'll have to put the illustration in the show notes, but just a heap of rubble and we're just laying there among the rocks. There's no.
And this was a book for kids.
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I think the picture you showed was a guy coming up behind you with the butt of a gun hitting you on the head, and you're 9.
Exactly. We got a vote from Al for a weekly attempt to survive the mountain. Maybe let's talk some more off camera, doing a weekly mountain challenge.
25 ways to die and see if we can get through the whole thing without dying. Find the one way that you don't die.
Well, we'd have to force it, obviously, at this point.
Yeah, I know.
We can't repeat the things that got us to these 2.
Exactly.
So, that's okay. I mean, it's fine for this experiment, but
we'll do an experiment. But wasn't as glorious as being on a mammoth, jumping over a cliff while you're on fire with a Dagwood sandwich in your hand.
Yeah, that's the way we want to go.
Yeah. I just die alone on the top of a mountain.
If we're gonna die,
or freeze to death.
You got me and Lee riding a woolly mammoth off a cliff, holding sandwiches in our hands.
Ooh, we got to add another one. Plaid pants.
In plaid pants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, are we wearing plaid pants or is the mammoth?
Yes. Or
all 3.
All 3. Oh man.
Draw it, Al. Draw it up.
That's a fever dream.
It's a good fever dream and a good way to leave this dimension if you think about it.
Yes. All right. Well, we better go. Thank you for everybody in the chat, Kim and Al, and anybody else that we might have missed. It's always a fun time to have some input. And I think, the coin flip must have been rigged because I think it was heads every time.
Heads all night.
Rolling heads.
Just roll. The
Heads are rolling. Heads are rolling.
Oh man.
So
you know it.
All right. Well, thanks, Eddie. Thanks everybody in the chat, and stay tuned to Covert Nerd, the Facebook page, or covertnerd.net, and find out when we do it again.
Sounds good. You guys have a good night.
Good night, everybody. See you later.